Welcome back to Slam Shenanigans. This is going to be a special little project here where we're making a wedding arch for you saw it, Cassidy and Adam. Anyways, so this is some blue stained pine, very special friend of mine, so we're going to give him some incredible wood here, hopefully, and you'll see me just going back and forth and measuring that pith in the top of the log here. And what I'm trying to do is center that pith as best I can to get a 12 by 12 beam out of this thing. So this arch will consist of one 14-footer and two 10-footers. I'm assuming the 10s are going to be the uprights. And anyways, follow me along. I really like doing wedding arches because they are such a special day for the folks that are in the wedding. And so it's not just a milling job, it's kind of something that they're going to remember for the rest of their lives. So join me as I make my first cut here on, I think this is the long one, the 14-footer.
All right, so Cassidy and Adam, this is what we call cracking a log open, and this is the first cut on your wedding arch. So Cassidy and Adam, soon to be Mr. and Mrs. Musil. Here we go. See what she looks like. So I'm not sure how well this is going to show up. Hang on, I'm going to switch views here. So we're in the shadows, but if you can see the staining in here, this is called blue stained pine. Come down around here. So your mom and dad and I are friends from way back, and when your dad reached out to me, I said, I got some really cool stuff that hopefully turns out nice. Here's some of the blue stain. And you probably know, but that is caused from the bark beetle that killed this tree, secreting some sort of something, and it stains the wood. So this will change. It looks kind of yellowish right now in the water, but it'll go almost to a white with a blue. That's what I'm thinking. So there's your first cut. And hopefully by the end of the day, you guys will have a wedding arch that your dad's gonna pick up and make. Congratulations.
All right, so that was the first cut, and so now what you're going to do is just kind of watch as I cut the rest of this beam and the remaining two beams. So, like I said, I'll spend a lot of time just measuring that pith, figuring out where it is, getting it up on the toe boards, making sure we're consistent, and that the log is actually solid. So when you raise it on the toe boards and lower it, sometimes it can move around on those knots. So you that's why I went up and down a couple times there. So now that it's cut on three sides square, I just kind of basically got to make sure that I can get down to that 12 inches. And what I always try to do is kind of start a little bit thick so that I'm whittling down to it. So that's why you'll see me take these additional cuts off of here, and I'm kind of getting a couple extra 1-inch boards out of this that I threw the bride's dad way. I threw the bride's dad's way so that he can make something special. They actually are the owners of the Long Branch Saloon, which is kind of a corporate retreat area out in Half Moon Bay. So make sure to look those guys up. So this is just kind of showing the whole process. So these logs don't get to the mill by themselves. So that's why we have to have some extra equipment here. So this is the excavator going down to the log deck here. Should be showing you picking up one of these other big old blue stains here shortly. We'll speed it up a little bit because it's not super exciting watching an excavator walk around. Here's one of them. And I actually think, in full disclosure, this was slightly under 10 foot. I don't remember if I took my tape with me. So I do know I took one up and it was a little short and had to go back down for some more. Yeah, so as you can see from the process, it takes a bit of time and work to get these things to the mill. So it's not just the cutting part that is part of this process here. So that's what I try to show in all my videos, that it does take the whole thing to get this stuff done. So now we're back up here and we're getting the second log up on the deck. Just doing lots of measurements, and before we take our first cut, and then we start going. And as you can see, it's substantially faster when it's only a 10-footer versus a 14-footer. I mean, that extra few feet does make quite a bit of difference in terms of what you do with that log, and then also how many undulations and knots and exterior changes in dimension you have on that log. This one was very concentric, I guess if you'd call it. So it's a little bit easier to make those cuts. And this is kind of what we're ended up with here on the second one. Kind of hard to see in the shadows and on a rough cut, but the bride's father is going to sand these things up and seal them, and hopefully it should bring that blue stain out and make that pine really pop. So what you're seeing here is that this log that I put up there was not exactly round, and I kind of think I changed my mind. I didn't want to use this one, so I pulled it back off and put up one that was just a little bit better. So I'm going to slow the time lapse down here a little bit so you can kind of see exactly what I'm doing. I'm checking the width of the exposed wood on top so that I can understand what I'm going to end up with on a cant. And then I'm just kind of rolling the log here, and you can kind of see the mill work a little bit better in slower time lapse. So here we've got two of them done now. We've got one 10-footer and one 14-footer. So we are on to our last log for the last 10-footer. You can see I got two sides squared up. And since it's squared, that's I kind of make my first commitment cut on that very first side, because that's the relationship of that side to the center of the pith, which is the pith is the center of the log, in case anybody doesn't know. But so here I'm just kind of getting all these flitches and excess wood out of the way, and we're ending up with our last cant, which is actually the beam, and I'm taking the final dimensions off to make sure that this thing is a 12 by 12. You can see it's a bit of a rectangle there, and we'll take the Last part off, square everything up. And we're just about good. And I'm not sure why, but for some reason I had to take off and go down to the house for something. My mill's probably 700-800 feet from the house, so occasionally got to do that. So to finish up any job, you basically take the boards that aren't dimensionally cut to what you want at the end here, and you set these up on the mill and get them ready to cut to a dimension that you can use. So that's what I'm doing here. And we're pretty much done with the job, and here's the 3 beams and some extra boards stacked up at my site, ready to go. They were going to be picked up, but ended up getting to go out and visit my buddy at his place, Long Branch Saloons, which is what you saw there. Beautiful place, fantastic facility. I highly recommend you guys look them up. And if you have any events you'd like to run, go ahead and talk to him. And here's the wedding arch sitting at his site. So thank you for watching, and congratulations to Cassidy and Adam.